So, to commemorate 20 chapters, I should say, and with a very, very weird and uncomfortable way to start off this chapter of chapter 20 on there, I was going to say, what better way to start off nearly 6 months of this series pretty much coming out and hitting the final of the 20 marks is with having that first volume already arrived. This arrived a couple of days ago alongside with the Mashima Playground that I got in the background there. So, yeah, I was going to say, finally we got the first volume of Eden Zero. That's nutty to think that we got the first volume of this already. It hasn't even been fully 6 months yet since the series came out, but they were kind of like heavily trying to push towards a release with this series, and we've already seen what the second volume looks like already. I mean, the volume, the color itself and all that, and there's nothing a lot going on in the background on there, and I personally I quite enjoy the first volume cover on there. I think the second one looks more like a majority of the mess, but it's nice the fact that they even decided, the fact that we were even deemed worthy to have color pages, because I know a lot of the time nowadays they don't really bother with that, as, you know, that's a little extra production cost for the most part. But with 20 chapters into this series, and how are we faring for, especially with like it to be the successor for Fairy Tail and everything, like, where do we stand right now with Eden Zero in 20 chapters in? And, well, to say with this chapter, quite in a weird spot, really. I think, like, we're already 20 in, and then I'm thinking about, okay, how is it faring so far? I'm comparing it to, like, first 20 of Ray, first 20 of, like, Fairy Tail, all his other series and all that. And we see, like, immediately with the start of this chapter, where it's like, continuing the Guilst stuff. I like that, if anything, we got a nice color page of like Homura trying to do a selfie and everything, which feels weird. It feels like that character would not even try and do that kind of action on there. But when we get to Allega Tower, where we see that creepy frog looking dude with like the chain and everything, and he's like got all the B-cubers, and he's like, ooh, I seen her, and her too, I seen all of them, oh how wonderful, I'm a big fan, and I'll take any girls that cute. Like, he's there, he's just like, it's my hobby to turn them into furniture, as we see a horrible picture of a naked-ass girl who was now about to be made into furniture, who was there crying for her life, saying, I will do anything, please, as one of his like goons just decides to turn her into stone, and he's like, oh, what a wonderful piece and all that, and it's just like, why, as like a bunch of the girls are like screaming, just spare us, and he's like, why would I ever do that? And it's like, and he's got an ability, or at least he has something that he can do inside this inside this room, where he just clicks his, like snaps his fingers a little bit, and bubbles just start coming out, and these bubbles happen to melt clothes, and you're like, oh, here we go, and it's like, yep, already, it's like, get the Fairy Tail, wow, well, it's just as Tig Old Biddies, all hanging out everywhere, again, like from the king of etchiness himself, from all of them, like, I will say this immediately, or it's like, I don't mind, again, I don't mind it, it's like, again, it's just like, it was super fun, I'm like, oh, this is just making me feel there are points where it's like, it is making me feel uncomfortable, where it's like, it is fine to have a very sexy and attractive lady, but there are times when it's like, and it's a lot in Shonen magazine as well, especially where it's not just Jump, Jump's actually, well, at least with a lot of this more recent series, unless you're like Yuragi no Yuna, like they're normally a little bit more tame in their other series and all that, unless you're Tularu or you're this, and it's like at least with a lot of the Shonen magazine series and all that, I've noticed that they are heavily a lot more pusher to like the teen audience, and this is more what they go for, and plus as well, I think it's the fact that Hero might be a little bit of a pervert, he just might be, and I'm like, yeah, no surprise, but again, like, this I don't know, it's just this chapter in particular, mainly because I don't like the unison of the girls who are screaming for their lives and are pretty much going to be taught that it's like, yeah, that, there's something part of me where it's like, that don't feel right, and there's something in the bottom of my gut that's telling me this is a no-no, like, as she's like there, like, again, Rebecca's there, like, holding herself like that, and it's just like, I'm getting out of this and all that, I swear to God, I am going to punch this guy out, like, I'm going to get this creep's lights out, I swear to anything, like, so she is there, like, holding herself, like, fear with all this soap shit all around there, and it's like, and then there's a little interesting note, is that his little butler or little choice where he's like, "Oh, Master Illega, sister has sent an invoice, has got a little message for you." And you're like, okay. So we immediately get to Guilst with the rest of the gang, with like Homura, with like there with Shiki, like Opino, and like we find out though that they've at least tried to fix up Happy, but at least with how Weiss is describing it, is like he is not the same man that like invented him like all those years like in the future. He's like, I'm not that dude, like, so I'm not gonna actually do anything about that. And it's just like immediately and all that, he goes in there and it's like, we need to go Guilst and all that. And it's like, let's head. Homura goes, let's head up there first and all that. I feel now it'd be appropriate to say that I look forward to seeing those strong warriors. But it's like, the more I see of her and the fact that she's talking about it, it's like, she is really hungry for a bit of combat, and not only just against Shiki as well. I'm very curious to see what more she like actually has up her alley apart from that, like, because she's a very, at least personality-wise, her like whole thing as well is very kooky. So like I'm very confused about that. It's just like, and immediately it's like you're seeing that as they're going around like Guilst and having a look. It's like, what is up with like Guilst anyway? As they're like all like, the planet has always been like built on this giant tree, and they always talk about what it you see like all these cities that are like just attached to like parts of the branches and shit. I'm like, that's a weird looking like kind of thing. And it's like, it was blessed with an abundance of nature, and it's just like, again, it used to be a tourist place back in the day. It used to be a tourist planet, like how Shiki's place was, and it was like, it used to be like Granbell, and according apparently to this database and all that, the towns used to be built on like these things called Megdrasils, which, what a surprise they're named after Yggdrasils, like, you know, the giant trees. But apparently we're at like one of the lowest branches, one of the lower levels of the area, which you can just see from like all the way from the back of like Guilst on there. And it's like, I mean, he's like, we need to worry about this and all that because, you know, even though Rebecca would love to see this and this would be a great video, we have to be like, it's a planet full of criminals, so we need to kind of play it at least a little safe and all that for the most thing. And then with how they're talking about where it's like, it's a shithole, like all these like edgy motherfuckers and like shady people. And then we see when they go towards this church which says Rogue Out on there, whereas like Pina's like my information says that Rogue Out headquarters are around about here. And it's like, again, like that might have been, I think that was a mistranslation on our end, maybe on there, where it's like, like sure like the church is this, where it's like, again, we were heard that their original name was log off, log out, and it might have been that, it might have been like a slight mistranslation error or something like completely different. Because again, we're talking about Sister here, and that group was originally like mentioning her as well. As they go into the church, they see this giant weird statue on all there. It's like, what the hell do you seek like from me? Is it like power guy? And it starts moving as well, and it's like, what do you want? And then it splits cleanly in half, and it's like, I don't need to know your answer already because I already know what fate awaits you. And then it reveals right at the very end, it's like, it's Sister. Like, we just immediately went and found like one of the 4 shining stars immediately, and it was like, oh, that was quick. You are a very weird looking character as well, with like your nun outfit as well, and like all the side next things, like whatever the hell is on your back, like some giant stinger or whatever the hell it is. And it's like, it makes me wonder a little bit more what's up with her, considering it's like, okay, what is exactly your whole deal as well, like what is your relation to like these sort of like all these mercenary groups on there. More setting up the table, this chapter. I don't think this was an amazing chapter by any standards. I thought it was, if anything, like a score-wise, it was fine, like on there. But again, I think it got a lot of points to turn because again, I didn't really like I think honestly it was really tasteless, some of the stuff with with all the girls and the beekeepers for the most part. And again, that's someone that enjoys, you know, like Verida and enjoys Ray and like all these edgy series and all that. I don't know, I think this chapter in particular, it just came out a little tasteless than usual. So it's like, again, it's just like, it was just more uncomfortable than anything. And I know that's the whole point of what they were trying to do, but again, like, I'm still looking forward to like picking up more of the volumes on there. It's just that so far, like the most of the stuff that we've seen so far, it's been either like kind of very hit or miss so far. I am looking forward to going more into like the series and all that, and see what exactly the sister plot line is going to be leading up to at some point. But overall, like, again, it was a fine chapter setting up more about Sister, kind of very quickly meeting her already. Not to mention as well that with everything that's like we're trying to see exactly how Rebecca's going to get out of her scenario. Again, she does have ether gear. It's just how she's going to be using it to get out of there and trying to save like all the other B-Cubers as well. But again, like on volume cover wise, I actually kind of like it's a little jarring to see that they're now white volume covers, so it looks extremely jarring next to like where I've got all the Fairy Doll volumes and everything. And then again, but then again, that's the same with like Zero, and I believe the Fairy Girls one is kind of like that as well. So all the side off materialization and all that is always like that kind of color, and then especially as well with this series too. But I'm very curious to see what you guys think in the comment section down below. But that is all from me. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.